Hey, what's up, everybody? So just a few hours ago, I was the first person to ever march a drum set with a marching band in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I was cruising through the streets of New York City, playing in front of an audience of over 3.5 million people live and over 50 million people on national television. Needless to say, it was a really crazy event, and me and the Georgia State Marching Band really wanted to do something awesome for it. Not only in our performance, but that also means that the drum set that I was playing was super special, and legitimately it is the only one in the world like this. So I am so excited to show it to you guys. Without further ado, let's check it out. Alright, so let me tell you a little bit about this kit and why it is so special. Now, this is Pearl's new Crystal Beat acrylic drum set, and so they haven't had these drums in years. I think it was like the 70s the last times they had the acrylic kit. And so this is a re-release of the Crystal Beat kit, but the reason that there's no other kits in the entire world like this is because this particular clear Crystal Beat kit has satin hardware. And satin hardware is just a different, it's kind of like silvery, I guess, but it's a different type of hardware than it is normally offered on the Crystal Beat kits or offered from Pearl at all. They used to make it, now they don't make it anymore. So this is just one of a kind, which is really cool. I'm so excited to play such a beautiful kit. Alright, so for this kit for Macy's, I actually only used the 5-piece configuration without this floor tom over here. But for some of my other videos, and just to show you guys the floor tom, I also have the left side floor tom here for this shot. But for the Macy's parade, I actually used a 10, 12, 16 setup. That's a 10 by 7, a 12 by 8, and a 16 by 15. They're all shallow depth toms, shallow depth for the actual size of the drums, and that really just helps with a quick attack, and it gives a great sound through the actual acrylic shells themselves. The kick is a 22 by 16, and then the snare drum, which is not acrylic, they didn't have a Crystal Beat snare drum with the satin hardware available, is the Chad Smith signature snare. Now, I've talked a little bit about that in some recent videos as well, so you guys can check out my actual review sound test on that snare drum in itself. Then over here, the drum that I didn't use is the 14 by 13 inch floor tom. And so all of the drums are shallow depth, which really just gives it that quick punch and attack. And these drums are really huge sounding. Before I put the porthole in that kick drum down there, it was an absolute just a cannon and so boomy. And so we put the porthole in there, and it gives it a lot of punch, a lot of attack, and it's just a really pleasure to play. So one of the main focuses I had for this kit and for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was strength and structural stability. I needed the kit to be strong. I needed it to stay exactly where it was. Of course, I couldn't be marching through the parade and then having things falling off or having anything move on me, because if I'm playing and I'm moving and we're hitting bumps in the road and all sorts of stuff like that, I had to make sure this thing was in place at all times. And so, as usual, you've seen in all my other videos, basically, for the most part, I always use the Pearl Icon rack, which is this system right here. I use the 3 straight-sided rack, and so this thing is by far, I've tried a lot of different rack systems, I've seen them used, it is by far the most sound when it comes to actual holding things in place and not moving. Now, some other style racks have different options to them, but this rack, because it's square, and because of the way the clamps work on here, if you clamp something down, it stays there. And so that was the main focus behind the way I actually set up this kit here, was to have the 4 legs of the kit, well, not the legs, but the feet of the kit are actually bolted onto the float. And so once I was past that, I wanted to make sure that everything on here was held down and attached to the icon rack in some way. I also went for a minimalistic approach in terms of the actual parts on here as far as hardware goes. I wanted to limit the amount of boom arms and things sticking up everywhere because I wanted it to be a very clean look. So each one of the crash cymbals here goes into a PCL clamp on the actual four corners of the icon rack. And so the four crashes are all snug and secure inside of each pole. Then, other than that, something you can focus on over here, we'll take a look at that in a minute, is the system that I have set up to hold the snare drum and the hi-hats. And so those are the only two pieces of the kit besides the floor tom that aren't secured to the kit itself. So I wanted to, or to the rack itself. So I wanted to secure that there, and I created a little bit of an interesting setup for that. All right, so down here, I've got my snare drum and my hi-hat stand, the two-leg Eliminator hi-hat stand here. I wanted to make sure that they don't move either because everything else is secure and this will be bolted down into the actual float. I wanted to make sure my hi-hat and my snare drum don't move around on me. So I've got a little system of some of Pearl's extender arms and then a couple of their clamp systems here that are actually holding the snare drum first to this pole coming off of the rack, and then from there, that same pole that's holding the snare drum is attached to the Eliminator hi-hat stand, and so I can shake it all about and nothing's going to go anywhere, which is absolutely awesome because I don't want anything to fall off while I'm playing. Alright, so the last pieces of this puzzle are the Eliminator chain drive pedal that I'm using and then the Roadster throne with a backrest. Now, I'm using the Eliminator pedal because I really love the power of a chain drive pedal, and this is a very quick, very smooth chain drive that I'm able to produce a lot of sound out of the kick drum with. I'm performing along the streets of New York. I'm performing in like basketball arenas and stuff, and so that's why I love to have the power so that I can get the sound out of the kick drum when it's not mic'd. And just like in the parade, it's not mic'd there. When I play at a Georgia State basketball game, it's not mic'd there either. So I want to make sure that I can get the sound out of the drum with the power of that Eliminator kick pedal. Then lastly, I've got the Roadster throne back here. It's got the bicycle seat style. I love that, getting the access to my legs. And it also has a backrest, and the backrest is there so that when the float moves around, I don't fall backwards off of the actual throne itself. So that helps keep me safe from falling and dying during the parade, or probably not dying, but you know. And it also, it's comfortable, it's nice. I've never had a backrest in my throne before, but now that I have one, I feel like I'm spoiled. Okay, so other than the extremely cool drums and the fact that they're one of a kind in the world and all that insanely crazy stuff, not only are the drums that way, but the cymbals themselves are really, really special. And so I want to tell you a little bit about them. Now, when I was creating this kit, I was like, hey, okay, here's the deal. It's going to be acrylic. It's got that satin hardware. Everything's going to be chrome, silver, clear. I'm going to be wearing black and blue because of Georgia State Marching Band. The lighting inside of it's going to be blue. There's nothing on this kit, well, besides the badge on the Chad Smith snare drum, there's nothing on here that's gold. So, you know, cymbals have that normal goldish look. Well, I got in touch with Zildjian, and I was like, hey guys, I really want to play my favorite cymbals for this parade, but is there any way to do the coating on them? Because they made some like titanium ZXT cymbals for a while, and I was like, can we do that with these cymbals? And they were like, yeah, we can make them platinum. And so these cymbals are actually my favorite choices in cymbals, coated in platinum. So instead of being gold, they're chrome, and you can kind of tell. The lighting makes it difficult depending on the situation whether or not you can see the difference there, but in some pictures and stuff I'll put up on this video, you'll actually be able to really tell how different the actual cymbal looks, and it's insane. I mean, I pulled them out of the box. I pulled those cymbals out of the box for a sound test. Well, not a sound test, but an unboxing, and the whole time I was just like, wow, these are beautiful cymbals. So a little bit about them. My favorite crashes for playing with Georgia State, playing loud and very very powerfully, are the A custom crashes. And so over here is a 19-inch A custom crash, and over here is an 18-inch A custom crash coated in platinum. Then on the outsides, I wanted effect cymbals, not only for the sound but also for the look, because I'm appealing to a wide audience of people, and so I want them to look at it and be like, wow, those are cool cymbals. So this is an 18-inch A Custom EFX, and this is a 14-inch A Custom EFX. Then I got my favorite choices in hi-hat and ride. Both of these I use with the Georgia State Marching Band, and legitimately these are my favorite hats on the entire planet. They're the K Custom Session hi-hats. They were created with Steve Gadd, and sometimes you may not hear anything on the field but these hi-hats. They're just that loud, and they have such a great crisp action to them that I love it. I get to everything I play on them, whether it's diddles or double strokes, anything that I play on here comes out, which is really, really cool. Then on the right hand side, I've got the 20-inch K Custom Ride, and also great stick definition, a great bell on it, very cutting and very powerful, which is, as you have heard throughout this video, that's the goal, is to have something loud, to have something powerful, to have something cutting. Then my little friend here, the Zil Bell, and this is a 6.5. I think they make 6.5 and like 9-inch. This is the smaller one of those two, and I have come to love the Zil Bell. I use it for so many different things, but just in general, during this parade, there's a lot of fun opportunities I have to hit it during some of the roll-offs. Cha-cha, cha-cha, bzzz, cha-cha, ding! And like just having that is so cool. Like people, every time I hit it, people smile. It's funny to say that, but legitimately every time I practice I hit that thing, there's someone laughing or someone smiling. So to know that a single little cymbal can put a smile on someone's face is cool. And all of these cymbals definitely put a smile on my face every time I look at them. They're just so incredibly gorgeous. So big thanks to Zildjian for hooking me up and making sure that I was able to get the cymbals that I wanted and would make this kit even more insane than just how insane it already is, being the Crystal Beat with satin hardware. So those are the cymbals. So besides the actual drums being the Pearl Crystal Beat kit, having the exclusive satin hardware, and then the cymbals being this insane platinum finish, the only other thing on here that is really like the most incredible standout feature that makes people go wow is of course the lights. And right now they're set to blue because Georgia State, and that's the color that I marched in the parade with. But the options that a drum light system gives you is just so awesome, and it's really cool to be able to like, oh hey, today I want to do a white themed video, so then you change the lights to white. Or I want to do green, you can change them to green, you can change them to red, and there's all sorts of different colors that you can do on here, just all over the place, picking out a singular color. But also, if you're going for a cooler effect, you've got the flash or a strobe, and I mean, that's pretty intense. You can adjust the actual brightness of it up and down, and so you can make it basically whatever kind of intensity you want. If you want a slight effect, you can have it. If you want a more in detail, very in-your-face effect, you can have that too. And so that was really cool. And I actually was able to install these myself and really had no problems installing them and finding a way to make it look awesome, even with wires and stuff going through a clear kit. So that's the drum light system. Big thanks to those guys for helping to make this kit pop even more than it already did. So for the drum heads, I needed to pick something that was durable, but also, of course, sounded great. I wanted to make sure that by the time I got to the TV section, which is actually at the end of the parade, that my drum heads were still in great shape, still sounded just as good as when I started. And so that's why I went with the dual-ply Remo clear pinstripes. Of course, they have to be clear because of the lighting system inside. I want it to shine through. On the underside, I have the Remo clear ambassadors for the resonant side of the drums. And then on the snare drum, I have the coated controlled sound by Remo. It's very, very responsive, but also durable head because it has the black dot in the center. Then on the kick, I have the Remo Power Stroke 4. Now on the front right now, I have the Pearl logo head, but for the parade, I actually had a special Georgia State University head that also had Pearl on it. I'll show you guys that in a second. Made by drumstatic.com. My friend Casey Griot is incredible. If you need custom drum heads made, he does the best, and every single time I get one made now, I get it through drumstatic.com. So for sticks, I actually used the Vic Firth Buddy Rich signatures. They're all beat up because I beat the heck out of them when I play them. But I just love the texture and the feel of these sticks. I love the weight, and I also love the durability. For smaller sticks, they're actually very durable, and the white nature of the paint looks really great when you use them against anything dark, or just in general when you're playing. People see them kind of fly through the air really well. So it's a great visual effect. I also have the Coop3r stick caddies on both sides of the kit there where I can pull them out. Just one right now, but for the parade I had them on both sides. Then this video is actually recorded before, of course, because I wasn't making this video while I was in the parade, but I'm waiting on sim pads for the cymbals here. And what they are is they're little felts made out of a special foam. And not only do they help isolate your cymbals better, but they're going to be bright blue. And so they'll go with the color scheme of the kit for the parade and just be that extra little pop that I wanted to finalize the platinum to the blue look of the actual sim pads and the cymbals there. So that'll be really, really cool. So that is the kit that I just used in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So excited about it. I am so thankful for all the support from Pearl, Zildjian, Coop3r, Remo, Simpad, and just drumstack.com. Everybody. They're legitimately, all of them immediately wanted to get on board and help make this kit the coolest kit on the planet, in my opinion. I know some of you may not like the acrylic as much as I do, but I think that for a kit that is going to be shown to the general public, this is the kind of thing that immediately gets everyone's attention, and it just looks so cool. I mean, when I can do this, and all of a sudden it's just changing colors, and I mean, Drumlight did such a good job with the packages that I put. I actually installed the lights, but they created the packages that you can get for the drums, and there's just so much option to what you can do with it. And I think it looks great on every color, but of course, Georgia State blue right there. So thanks for watching. That was the kit. I'm going to have footage from the parade coming soon. I'm going to have behind the scenes from my trip to New York. I have a ton of really, really amazing videos of this kit recorded in the studio, recorded via just a room mic. We've got so much cool stuff coming from here. This is, when I was talking about a few weeks ago, this is kind of my big 500,000 subscriber celebration, having this crazy cool kit, marching Macy's, creating these videos in the studio. Everything's done so well. And as always, I'd like to thank my friend Zach Storino of Recollections Media. He's absolutely the bomb when it comes to making videos, and that's why this video looks so good, and so many of my other videos look so awesome. So that's the kit. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to play it. I might give you a little teaser real quick. I think I may play it out a little bit. So that's it. Have a good one. Subscribe for more videos, and go check out the Crystal Beat, because it is sexy.